Welcome to the Senergy Mining and Markets podcast. Today we have a very special episode with two very special guests. It's the first time we've ever done a three-way podcast, and there's a reason for why we're doing it today, which I'm going to get into in a second. I have the honor of speaking with the CEO of SKRR Exploration, Mr. Sherman Dahl, as well as the CEO and Chairman of F3 Uranium, Mr. Randhawa. I want to start off by giving a little bit of context around the purpose of this episode. Some of you probably already know SKRR recently announced an LOI with F3 for the option to acquire 70% interest in the Clearwater West Uranium Project located in the famous Athabasca region. So the purpose of this episode is, for one, to discuss the LOI, and so you guys, my listeners, can learn a little bit more about the project and how it came about. Sherman, Dev, thank you guys so much for coming on the show. I know it was a little bit last minute. How are you both doing today?
Doing fantastic, Aleem. I'm in the Okanagan, beautiful Okanagan, having a great day.
Awesome. Dev, first off, let's start off with you. It's a pleasure to meet you today. I'm quite familiar with the work that you've done with Fission. I'm actually a shareholder of both F3 and Fission, so when Sherman told me today that you'd be joining us, I was quite excited to discuss this exciting deal in the making with SKRR. Let's start off by talking a bit about the history and location of Clearwater West. I know it's extremely close to Fission's RRR deposit, as well as NextGen's Arrow project. So let's talk about the reason, you guys decided SKRR would be a good fit to advance the project and partner with F3.
Oh, sure. Well, it's a very exciting area, the whole west side of the basin. Just if you don't mind, just a bit of context. Everything was always on the east side of the basin, because that's where Cigar Lake and MacArthur were. And these were all what they call unconformity deposits. And, everybody always said, don't go west, young man. Everything's over there. Well, we did. We used some old diamond technology ideas, which was fly the area and look for, in the uranium, you could find uranium on the surface. That's a great idea. That means there's got to be uranium somewhere there, or outcrops. So Clearwater has picked up on that. We were looking for projects that we think on surface there's something there. And the best place to find another mine is next to another one. So this area is very prolific. You've got Arrow, 300, 400 million pounds. And then you've got RRR, at least 150 million, if not 200. So these are massive deposits. And in context, again, in the past, in the basin, if you found 40 or 50 million pounds, you had a mine. Hathor got sold on that basis. Cluff Lake went into production, and the Saskatchewan government actually built a road right through it. So it's a great location, being next to mines. Also, the infrastructure. There's a road that goes right in almost the middle of it. That's around 365. So when you pick a property, you got to look back and go, is it near other things? And the nice thing about SKR, when we do our drilling up at F3, the crews are up there already. So really what we were looking for was a financial partner that was capable of raising money. Now, we're all subject to the overall markets, but, some people are better than others at raising it. And Sherman is very good at raising money. He's got a sense of pulse, and he's got a good team around him. A lot of shareholders that are very sophisticated group of people. For me, the whole story is so obvious when it comes to uranium. You can't look, there's 8 billion people in the world, and 3 billion of them have no electricity or very little. So the world will starve for energy, and we need lots of it. And, uranium, nuclear power offer solutions to two major problems: security of energy. Tell that to Germany, who's not gone back to coal because they didn't think ahead. And then finally, besides needing your own supply of energy, we want clean energy. So that's what uranium does, and we need lots of it. If you're going to look for uranium, let's look for uranium where there's other deposits nearby.
I totally agree. That's a good point. And Sherman, what was kind of the overall strategy behind this? And was there a particular reason after going after this project and stepping into the uranium space, further diversifying SKR's already big portfolio? What does this announcement mean for the company and its shareholders?
Well, I think it's extremely exciting, and the rationale is really simple when it comes from the point of SKRR. I've known Dev and his team for many, many years, and it's a very strong business relationship, but also a deeper personal relationship as well. Looking to diversify into the metal, the energy sector, and you change transportation, you change the world. And the base load of that, of course, is nuclear. And so really, for us, we wouldn't have had a comfort level if it wasn't for Dev. I've been to PLS many times. And when I get off that float plane, and the first person that greets me on the dock for many years has been, Ray Astley and some of the other key team members. And so we had just a significant amount of comfort level and deal with a group that caliber, and you can just tell from Dev's knowledge of the sector. I mean, I find myself reasonably knowledgeable, but it's because of my association over all the years with originally Strathmore, which of course, if we all do the math of all the spinouts that came from the original Strathmore, like Fission and then Fission 3, we're just carrying on the potentially the tradition of hopefully another discovery on the exciting west side of the basin. So for us, it's really about the people and the quality of the project, because we are capital market people, so we really rely on the expertise of a group. So we feel obviously very fortunate to be doing a joint venture with F3, and I wish we would have done it sooner. That's all I can say.
Well, it's better late than never. I mean, what are the next steps moving forward, and what are some important key milestones and catalysts that investors can look forward to in the next little bit?
Well, I'll speak to that quickly. And our first thing, we'll complete the paperwork, which is just cleaning that up. That's no big deal. The key is to identify targets. Uranium drilling is quite expensive in the basin, so you got to be patient, and you got to do. There are about 4 things you look for before you start punching holes in. You got to have a corridor, you got to have a structure, you got to have alteration, and hopefully with some other history in the area, you can see there's any bleaching, and there's certain minerals you look for. So I think the first step is to vector, make sure you got the right target. That's number one. And obviously this summer we start to drill. Again, sometimes we jump into the trees and forget the forest. Hey, this project is not about Sherman or Dev. It's in the hands of Ray and Sam and the team. It's hard to find somebody who's found a uranium deposit in the basin. It's very hard. And I don't know anybody else on found two. Well, Ray's on his third. Ray's the one that picked the holes, and Ross was a big part of what we did. But because there's so much overburden in the basin 300 to 600 meters down, it's real geoscience. And obviously, you got to have the structures and everything else in place geologically. But so the step here is, I sleep very well when we're drilling, because I know it's in the hands of the most capable people out there. So, it's like Edmonton throwing out their line McDavid and Drysdale. Well, you feel pretty good. And right now, I think we have the very best team historically. I know that's a lot to say, but I believe historically we have the best exploration team that's ever walked the earth. So we feel really good. And they're humble people. They're going to go but do their job and try to find more uranium. The steps are, you got to identify those targets and advance the project along. And I do want to say, this is our first project together. I have a feeling, as we move along in this uranium cycle, we'll be able to do other projects with SKRR. We just want to get our feet wet, but I do see other things happening between the two companies.
Perfect. And Sherman, you guys have a bunch of other projects. Is the main focus now going to be Clearwater West? What's going to happen to the other remaining projects in the portfolio?
Well, certainly in the near term, the primary focus for exploration work, like real money in the ground, is definitely Clearwater West, and working with Ray and Sam on launching the drill program for Clearwater. I would say that if we were going to, on the other projects and things that we have in the portfolio, I guess I would point to one of our most recent news releases, which was the deal that we did with Fathom Nickel, where we had more advanced zinc property that they were interested, which was linked to one of the properties. So we're open to other, monetizing other things in our portfolio, but the focus currently is going to be on exploration drilling, is definitely going to be the Clearwater West.
Yeah, I think that's the right way to do it. Thank you guys for your time. I mean, if there's anything else you'd like to add and inform my listeners on, now's the time to do it.
Well, I think the main thing is that, in my view, and this will piss off some of my friends in gold, but right, gold's a good place to be right now at 2000. But to me, you got to be in these. Wayne Gretzky says, "Go where the puck is, not where it is, where it's going to be." To me, it's going to be in these transition metals. To me, the two big ones are lithium and uranium. And if you're going to be with them, junior companies, the number one reason to own a junior company is the management. It's in great hands with Sherman over here. I think it's in good hands with the team we have. So number one is management. Are you in the right commodity, and are you funded? Those are big things, and investors get caught up in all sorts of things, but I try to keep it simple. You back people who've done it before, and they've got money in the deal. They're not just collecting fees like I see often with these, some of these management teams. They're more interested in their monthly fees than they are in what the shares are worth. So I can assure you that, Sherman and I care a hell of a lot about our fellow shareholders than we do about that kind of stuff. So that's just my only thought to investors, is it's always management that can find good deals, finance them, have the track record to attract capital, and then hopefully when you need luck, you find some uranium. So that'd be my overall thought. Is just investors should invest with people who've done it before, and both set of teams have.
I think I would add, to Dev's comments is investors should always look at the price. And I think when we're looking at SKRR, you're looking at a a really low market cap. So a wonderful way to enter and own shares. Same goes for F3. I mean, F3 is more advanced because they already have a discovery, but both these stories are incredible opportunities. And I think you could put a periodic table on your wall and you can just about pick any element right now because what's happening in the world. It can be copper, it could be zinc, it could be cobalt. But if we look, and Dev's done a lot of work with Rick Rule, who's considered to be one of the smartest investors, and he's reminded investors many, many times that some of the most stunning rates of return on a percentage basis have often been in uranium. And there's a reason for that. There typically isn't a lot of quality names for investors to buy. And when you're in, the exploration business, which Dev's, as Dev alluded, it's a risky business at the junior level. You better have the right people. And so, I think Dev makes a very good point to investors. Pick the right management teams, but also be in the right commodities. So uranium's the right commodity.
I couldn't agree more. And at 6 or 7 cents per share with SKRR, a big discovery at Clearwater will definitely re-rate this thing. And I'm looking forward to the future and staying in touch with you guys. Thank you so much for the time again. Appreciate everything. And let's stay in touch.
You got
Thanks
it.
so much.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.